Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to Here for the Health of It podcast. We have a great episode today. We have Mary Gervais Brantley, who's with NFM Lending. She gets into all things mortgages, what it's like to be a lender. If you want to borrow money for a house, what does that look like? We get into some math, and we play a new little game, a new little segment that we have called He's a 10 But. So thanks for listening. Hope you enjoy. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Here for the Health of It podcast. I'm Dr. Randy here with Dr. Tom as always. Thanks, everybody, for listening, for reviewing. You can find all of our information on our social media accounts. It is just Here for the Health of It podcast, mostly on Instagram. I think we have Facebook. We have a bunch of them. And for those of you that are new to the show, one of the goals that we had when we started doing this was we wanted to introduce people to all the movers and shakers and cool people in Colombia. We found there's so many interesting people in Colombia, but we just hadn't met them yet, and it was hard to get to know who they are. So that's what we're doing. That's why we're here. So we have a great guest for you today. We have Mary Gervais Brantley, who's with NFM Lending. You're into mortgages.
Mortgages.
You help people find their great home.
With mortgages.
Love a mortgage.
And how do you fall into that?
Gosh, you legitimately fall into it.
Literally.
I literally fell.
Okay.
I didn't wake up one day and think that, I'm going to be a mortgage lender. You don't. I wanted to be, like every child, a marine biologist. And then I went to college.
You saw Free Willy when you were a kid.
Loved it so
Old
much.
Yeller.
Homeward Bound.
Yeah.
That's a veterinarian. But yes, so I was bartending and was getting tennis elbow, was getting a bad back, and I really needed to get out of the industry. I was working all hours, and I was like, I'm tired. I'm done doing this. Could make a mean cocktail, but other than that, just poor health. And so I got into radio advertising by way of a regular that I used to come in when I bartended, and hated that job. Absolutely hated it. But one of my clients was, he owns an advertising agency, and then his wife owned a mortgage company at the time. And so that's kind of how I got into it. And it purely happenstance. I think I had a part-time job in like the summer of 2014 and was just a little processor, would take phone calls, would talk to the people who called in and wanted to get a mortgage. And I'd be like, yeah, sure, let me pass you on to someone else. But that's pretty much it. It's really turned into a true passion. When you first start, you're kind of like, I guess this is going to be a cool thing. I hope it is. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't think, unless you come from a parent that was a mortgage lender, I don't think you go to school thinking you're going to be a mortgage lender.
Right.
And it kind of sucks trying to get a mortgage, too.
It does.
You get asked a million questions. You hope that they're going to approve you. They give you, maybe we'll approve you, maybe not. Maybe show us the house. Maybe we'll say yes. Maybe we'll say no. So what does the process look like then for somebody who's their first-time home buyer?
Yeah. So I work with a lot of first-time home buyers, and what I really like to try to do is, I think getting a mortgage is part of the bigger plan. It is, I can get you approved. Any lender can go get you approved. I think it is truly about educating that person and making sure they understand what it is to get a mortgage. It's cute. Yeah, you see HGTV, you see the fun houses, you see the DIY projects, but it's much more than that. And then, especially right now with this environment that we're in, where you're having prices be more than what people are used to, rates are a little bit higher than what people are used to, you're having first-time home buyers and even repeat buyers that are having to kind of max out their budget, which is kind of terrifying. We purely talk to people about your liabilities and then your gross monthly income. We don't take into consideration your car insurance, if you're like self-paying health insurance, if your gas, your utilities, nothing else goes into that equation. And so I think it's really important for a first-time home buyer to recognize that a mortgage payment that's just not the end all be all. It is such a bigger picture that they need to understand. You need to have financial stability. You need to have financial education to really understand. I mean, you're taking on a 30-year mortgage.
Right.
You're not going to probably be in that house for 30 years, but that is a huge financial commitment.
It's a big commitment.
And it's the largest purchase that you will make at that moment in your life. So
It's a lot of paperwork.
God.
Have you read every page?
Yep. 100%.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like cars and houses. The paperwork is
insane.
Insane.
It's
And even chiropractic clinics,
Yeah.
sometimes the paperwork's
a
out
lot
of
of
control.
I bet.
We do.
It all boils down to if you pay, you stay. If you don't, you won't. That is the base level that you
Right.
can like dumb it down to.
Yeah.
Except for transferable mortgages, which are huge right now. Today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, Columbia Family Chiropractic, with 3 easy-to-get-to locations, one in Forest Acres, which is by Trader Joe's, one in O'Neill Court by the DMV, and one in the Northeast by Sand Hills. You'll be sure to have somewhere near you. They offer a ton of services from corrective care, on-site digital x-rays, spinal decompression for bulging or herniated discs, dry needling for injuries, pediatric care, and a Class 4 laser. They accept all your major insurances. And if you mention this ad, you'll get a discount on your first appointment. Check out their website at cfc4health.com or Google Columbia Family Chiropractic. That's cfc4health.com.
An assumable mortgage, I think it kind of it looks very pretty on the outside of it. So if a seller is offering a house and it's listed for $300,000 and they've got a 2.5% interest rate, oh my God,
Right.
heck yeah, why not? Rates are 6.5%, 7% right now. Why would you not do that? How you kind of calculate what the buyer has to bring is you look at what that loan balance is. And so if those people bought in 2020 and they bought it for $150,000 and they've made a couple extra principal payments and things like that, let's say hypothetically they owe $100,000 on that house. Someone's got to bring the difference between the $100,000 loan amount and the $300,000 purchase price. And that is the buyer. So typically, most first-time home buyers don't have a whopping $200K lying around.
Right.
So yes, assumable mortgages are really cool products if the buyer is willing to shell out that kind of cash. And sometimes it's a lot less than that. So it's purely a case-by-case situation. But yeah.
Are there any other cool is that what we're calling them, products that are out there in the mortgage world?
Yes. There's probably a better name for it. Yes. So
What is just a list right off the bat? Anything you can think of?
bank statement loans for self-employed people.
Okay.
That is, so a self-employed person, you own a business, you don't file taxes. Let's say you do file taxes with the federal government.
Yep.
But you write off some things, like most people
Lots
do.
of things.
Lots of things. So whatever you report to the federal government is what we have to use to qualify you on. And I think there's this huge misconception. They're like, well, I made $200,000 last year. It's like, you told the IRS you made 20.
Right.
So you do 20 divided by 12.
I always wondered about that. Yeah.
So there's a very cool product called the bank statement loan. So if you've been in business for at least 2 years, we can use an average of the last 12 months of your bank statements. And we just look at those deposits.
The business bank account?
Business or personal.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And so we just take an average of what those deposits look like, and that's what we use as your qualifying income.
Sweet. So I didn't know that. That's good.
It's pretty cool. It's a little bit more involved. I mean, we need your operating agreement. We need your, articles of incorporation, blah, 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 a whole list of items. But surface level, yes, super cool product. It is a higher interest rate, but would you rather pay yourself or would you rather go back and amend your taxes for the last 2 years?
Right.
So, yeah.
Nice.
That's good. Keep going. Is there anything else that we
Anything
need
else?
to
Any
know?
other secrets
Any secrets?
to get access to money?
To get access to money. So for an investor, there's a really cool cash flow loan. Essentially, if the property will cash flow, so you can buy it. As long as the appraisal comes in, let's say the appraisal comes in at the rent schedule, excuse me. So when we order the appraisal, we will also always get a rent schedule for that property for an investor. And if the rent schedule shows that, let's say, the owner can make $2,000 a month in rent, as long as that mortgage payment is under $2,000, they'll write the loan.
So that's called a debt service coverage ratio, right? Mm-hmm. But people don't.
Yeah.
They're
But a
not
lot of
easy
people
to
don't
find.
lend. Yeah.
No, it's.
Do
I
you
think
guys
a lot
do
of
those?
yes. I
Nice.
think a lot of lenders do. I think where people can get deterred is it is a fairly high interest rate, and then you're putting 20, 25, 30% down.
Oh, you
But
still have to
as
put-
an yeah, you've got to put a sizable down payment. But as an investor, you're looking for somewhere to park your money. So as long as the house cash flows, they'll write the loan. It's no income, no asset, no income, no employment verification.
How do you get the down payment to go? As I was saying, I was thinking it didn't make sense. But how do you minimize that? So, see, I've heard of some of those where you don't need to put 20, 25% down if the rent rates are cash flowing that high. Or is that always the case where it's going to be 20?
There might be a certain lender out there that is willing to do that. It's a higher risk product, so
Yeah.
that's why they want you to kind of fork over a larger chunk of money. I think the least I've ever seen has been 20%. It might be 15, but there is I guess this is, oh yeah, and we'll talk about this one. This is actually a conforming loan. So it's a regular conventional FHA product. You can, as a buyer, be a primary buyer and buy a multi-unit property, and then you can just rent out the other 2, 3.
Yeah.
That's a very cool way to kind of, what is it called, house hack.
Yep.
I'm sure you've heard of that. And so you live in the one side of it, you can rent out the other side, and then within 12 months, 24 months, whatever, you can move on and rent the other side of it out.
So you would do that as a normal mortgage.
That's a
You
normal
buy
mortgage,
a
yeah.
duplex, and then
Yep.
once you have been there for 12 months, then you can move out and rent it.
You have to live in the house.
Yep.
It has to be your primary residence. You cannot
And
pretend.
the mortgage doesn't change then. The only thing
The
that would
only
change
thing-
is the taxes.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And that tax payment can go
Oh yeah.
very quickly.
Massive. Where can you talk to the tax payments then for
yeah.
different areas? Because I know City of Columbia is really high compared to West Columbia, or Richland's fairly high compared to Fairfield. Or
Yeah. Richland County is probably one of the higher tax counties that we have. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Sorry, guys.
Sips. Ew, gross.
Oh God, I hate that. Please edit that out. So yes, so Lexington County is a lot more affordable tax wise
Okay.
than Richland County is. Where we have the primary tax rate and the or the investor tax rate, primary is 4%, investor is 6%. That does not mean it's just like a 2%. It is pretty much tripling or quadrupling your tax payment each year. So you go move out and you decide to buy something else. That other property becomes your primary. This current property becomes your investment property. That's going to jack up your monthly payment by $600, $700, $800.
at least, maybe more.
least. I
In
mean,
Richland,
yeah.
I think it's way more.
It's probably a lot more.
But it doesn't make sense when they give you the mill rate and
No,
the percentages.
it does not. None of it.
There has to be an easier way to do that than all the ridiculous.
You have to
math.
use their calculator on the website to try to figure it out.
And do they purposely do it so that you don't understand it?
You can't. Yeah, they would have to. They have to. There's no way. I mean, I have so many of the. I have each county's tax website bookmarked because each of them calculate it differently. And so you go in there and you pull up the estimator for the purchase price, and that gives you the estimated tax bill for each year. And it's wild when you look at 2023s because, and let's say they held onto the house for 10 years, and then you go sell the house and they're selling it for $150,000 more. We have to estimate the taxes based off the purchase price. And so that jump from 2023 to 2024 could be a couple $1,000s just for the primary. It's pretty bonkers.
I guess in that same thing, what's the best way to move properties around? Like say from your personal to an LLC to still not have the taxes jump if there was a massive gain in value?
I don't think that there is. So if you have that, if the taxes are going to get recorded. The property gets recorded every single time you buy a house. It gets recorded with the county. It's going to get recorded at that purchase price that you purchased it at. And then each year, every couple of years, I think Lexington's like every 5 years, it reassesses the value. And so that's when you kind of see the taxes creep up a little bit. There's not really a way. You can only have one primary.
Right.
Period. That is it. If you have a house in, I don't know, Georgia, still that's going to be your secondary or an investment property.
Right.
You have one in Aspen, that is a secondary or an investment property, or that's your primary. But you have to prove that it has to all make sense. You have to prove that that's your primary. You have to either work in Aspen or be remote and be like, I'm living in Aspen.
Yeah.
I just watched a TV show, and they were in Aspen last night.
I thought you were going to say Dumb and Dumber.
No.
That has Aspen in it a lot.
I watched something not as cool. Actually, it's a really good show on Netflix. It was Buying Beverly Hills.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've seen Selling Sunsets on Netflix now.
Yes. So I liked Buying Beverly Hills because it was not as catty. It was based on a family.
More real estate.
It was a Mauricio Umansky. I'm going to butcher his name. He's one of the housewives' husbands.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And so it kind of focuses on their daughters, and their daughters seem pretty level-headed.
Sure.
And not just wearing 17-foot stilettos to the office in tiny little outfits. And it's not catty. It's not, I don't know. There's just not a lot of drama.
Right.
There's like, they're breaking up, but that's about it. Going through a divorce. But yes.
So I want to change gears a little bit.
Okay.
I have a segment that I want to do.
Oh,
This is my first ever segment.
I'm terrified.
Have you ever played the game like He's a 10 but?
No.
Have you heard of that? He's a 10 but he
Instagram
has
thing.
some. Yeah, it's a big Instagram thing.
Oh, he's a 10, but he
Lives with his
Something.
mom.
lives in his. Okay. Got
So
it.
I want to do that with you and just get your feedback.
Or
on
has
it.
a cat.
That was my first one.
Nice.
I like a cat.
He's
so.
a 10.
You're a cat lady.
All right.
I'm a dog lady. I'm an animal lady.
He's a 10, but he has a cat named Paul.
Ooh.
That's cute.
Single
10?
guy.
Oh, are we rating these
Yeah,
people?
so now you give him, so he's either still a 10 or he drops down to a 3 or he goes
Okay.
high.
Probably, I would say a 10 because I think it's adorable when you give animals
Wow.
names like human names.
Wow.
I've got a friend who's got a cat named Kevin. So, like Doug, love this.
All right, he's a 10, but he wears tighty whities only.
A 2.
He's a 10, but he eats hot dogs plain,
Like nothing.
just in a bun.
No condiments.
Ew, 1. Just it's such a dry raw dog and a hot
Oh,
dog.
that's weird.
All right, he's a 10, but he watches a lot of Bravo.
I mean, I'd probably say a 5. I kind of wish my boyfriend would watch a little bit
You
more.
need a good amount of Bravo.
Just a touch.
You need a good amount
a
of
healthy, in with my making it grow and stuff like that.
He's a 10, but he kisses his mom on the lips.
A 1. Like, is it like a peck or is it like a?
Oh, God.
It's just like a pack. I mean, they're not
smooch?
tonguing each other,
Well,
but
no,
they
but like
say
there's
goodbye.
sometimes
Like
it's a little.
Yeah. Gets longer sometimes.
Yeah,
It's weird.
That's weird.
All right, he's a 10, but he thinks Nickelback's the greatest band on the planet.
10.
Yep. Love those answers.
I will jam out to some Nickelback.
All right, that's the end of our segment.
segment
I
was
think
brought to
that
you
segment
by
was brought to you by
Tastiest
Tastiest Fit. We've got smoothies
I
impromptu.
love it. I love it. That's pretty great.
All right, so let's get back to mortgages then.
The really fun stuff.
Yeah. What's your biggest pet peeve when somebody comes in and they want a mortgage?
I think the biggest pet peeve is, and we get it every single day, every single lender gets this, is what's the rate? The rate is so dependent on so many different things that you can't just be like, hey, what's the rate? Like, it would be like me coming to you and say, what kind of diet, give me chiropractic care. And you're like,
Let's see.
What's
your
wrong
spine.
with
what's
you?
wrong?
Yeah.
What do you want? Like, where is it hurting? What's going on? What kind of pain do you have? How's your pain
Right.
tolerance? What's your pain level?
So most people are doing that though because they want to shop around a little bit,
Yes.
because it is different from one place to
It is.
another place, and you may
Kinda,
get
yeah.
7% at one place and 7.5% at another place, and even 0.25% is a massive difference over 30 years.
Over 30 years, yes. So it's I always want to compare apples to apples. So if you look online right now and you Google today's mortgage rates, you'll probably see the interest rate is an average of, I think it's like 6.8 or something. There's a little tiny asterisk at the bottom that says this is based on discount points and no discount points and nationwide. There's no parameters. It's just they took all the rates from last week and averaged them out. And so, yes, if I am quoting you 7%, but not charging you a half a discount point, but then someone else is charging you 6, but charging you 2 discount points, there's a huge difference. Like that might be charging you an extra $5,000, whereas the 7%, the difference between a 7 and a 6% rate might be a couple $100, $150, $200 or something, depending also the price point. So you have to look at it, and how I like to explain, or at least try to help people understand, is that you have to look at how long you're going to be in the house. What are you using this for? Are you going to be here for 2 years and then you're going to sell it? Are you turning it into an investment property? Is this something that you're going to be in long term? Is this like, what is your game plan? Like, what is your purpose for buying a house? And it goes so much more deep into that. And then I say, okay, what do you want? Do you want the lowest monthly payment? Do you want the lowest out-of-pocket expenses? Because those two things cannot coexist in the same scenario. If you want the lowest monthly payment, you're going to pay a higher discount point for that lower rate. If you want the least amount of out-of-pocket, you're going to have a higher interest rate and your payment's going to be higher. But you're going to have more money in your pocket that you can throw directly at principal if you want to.
Yeah.
So there's different ways to kind of navigate that. And so, I don't know, I get off topic real quick. What was the original question?
Well, so part of it's based on interest, or
Yes.
so the interest rate is partially based on your credit score.
Yes.
What's the highest credit score you've ever had come across?
I was going to
Probably
ask
like
you that.
810, 815.
That's the highest you've ever seen?
What?
You're sitting
Yeah.
in the presence of, and you're looking straight at him right now, of somebody much higher. I want you to guess.
I mean, I don't think it can go past a 900.
Right, correct. So it's not
And 899,
close.
890.
That's an aggressive guess.
That is aggressive. 880. I took a
880.
screenshot. I said, "Whoa, Papa
That's
Bear, you're up."
impressive.
I don't even know necessarily how.
Yeah.
I
Paying
mean,
your
I've
bills
had-
on time.
Well,
Keeping that low mon-
for sure.
I've never heard of an 880. I always thought it went to 850.
Yeah.
880
Like
took a
mine's like
screenshot.
860. So here's the fun part of that. If you have a 760 or higher, it doesn't matter.
What?
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me the 850s of the world are the same as an 880?
761.
760.
761. I'm
Mm-hmm.
in the same room as them.
Yep.
I thought there'd be like this penthouse, special room. You walk me into it, give me
Niffling
first.
in those 760s too.
Oh God.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna start just missing payments.
Ooh, yeah. What's the value of going to 880 then?
You get nothing.
Really? So 760 plus.
760
you're fine.
plus, you're all in the same bubble.
Wow. I think it's because it's the length of you. Like I got a credit card when I was 18 and made
Oh, nice.
payments for
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Your credit score is based on 5 different things. It's the length, it's the variation of the type of debt that you have, it is your ability to repay,
Yep.
and some other things. But the bureaus want you to have an average of about a 30-year, 25 to 30-year span. I mean, that's average.
Right.
My average, I started taking on debt for student loans in 2007. And that was my first debt ever.
Yeah.
But then you buy a house that you
Another
average
thing,
that
yeah.
with 2007. That was 14? Not 14 years ago.
Oh, you're-
24 years ago?
2007,
I can't-
17 years ago.
17 years ago. Thank you.
17
Yeah.
That was close.
Yeah, you were close.
was
7,
close.
24.
It's fine. 17 years ago, and let's say you just bought a house, they're going to average that 17-year debt with that brand new baby debt. That cuts
Right.
your average in half. So if you were to have a 30-year average, you would have had to open up debt like when you were in your mother's womb
Yeah.
and never opened up debt again.
I've never heard of this 30-year thing.
It's like 20, 25 years or something like that.
When I moved here from Canada, none of my debt or credit score transferred over to me. So I was ground zero.
Zero.
Literally, I
You were
started
the
at
presence of the
zero.
highest and lowest you've ever.
Yeah, I love it. It's much easier to establish credit than it is to fix bad credit.
Yeah.
So you're starting at
That's a good
zero.
sign.
That's,
It was fine. I
you
mean,
just had
now
nothing.
now it's fine.
No,
But
you're fine.
I would always hear from Dave Ramsey. Credit score is just how much debt you take. It's not he pushes people away from focusing on their credit score.
Sure.
But you can't really borrow money if you don't have a credit score.
You have
He
to
doesn't
have
want.
credit.
Yeah. He never wants you to borrow money.
Right.
No.
That's his
Ever.
point.
Credit
But
cards,
you
nothing.
can't. You can't rent a car if you don't have a credit card.
Right.
You have to be 25 and you have to have a credit card.
He must find a way around that.
Debit?
How does
I mean,
he
I
do
guess
that?
he
debit?
probably has so much money that he just has his own driver. He doesn't
Yeah,
care.
I think if it's debit, you have to maybe put down $500 or
okay.
$1,000 out of your account, and then they give it back when you bring
Oh,
it back.
nice. I haven't rented a car in a very long time, so I wouldn't know.
But it was
crazy.
tough. It's
Yeah,
hard navigating anything without a credit
absolutely.
score. Period. I learned that the hard way
Yeah.
in my 30s.
I'm a brand new baby. Just give me something.
So, do
Yeah.
you consult people on getting like what they should prep for a mortgage?
Yeah.
What
like,
sort of advice if somebody is like they shouldn't wait until they found their dream house and then start the process? It'd be like, say I'm in an apartment right now and I'm in college. You probably should start thinking about what do I do to when I eventually want a mortgage?
Yeah. It's extremely. I was sitting on your pen the whole time.
Just directly in the
Sorry.
rectum.
It was.
Pull it right out.
Sorry, I was like, what is this on my phone? Yes, it is extremely important that you start taking a look at your financial picture way before you try to
Yeah.
buy a house. So many people, I think that's kind of where, a couple of years ago, and it's kind of started this trend of where I'm going to go a little off topic for a second. I will come back to it, I promise. But it got to a point where people would be like, oh, your lender can fix your credit, or your lender will tell you what you need to do. We can absolutely do that. But there are some times that this fixing of the credit and getting you ready for a house needed to start 6, 9, 12 months ago, 2 years ago. And now you're starting and I still have conversations with people today that do not monitor their credit. You have your credit card, you have Credit Karma, you have Experian.com, you have MyFICO.com. They're not the same as us pulling a mortgage credit report, but it is a valuable tool to see how your score trends and what's reporting.
Yeah.
And so I think there was this kind of not weird push, but there was this movement, a shift where it was like, your lender will fix it. Don't worry. Don't worry about your credit. The lender will make it happen. It's like, it is my responsibility to make sure that you are confident, comfortable, prepared to buy a house and to get set up for this financial journey of yours.
Right.
It is not my responsibility to fix your credit. I can't fix your credit.
Was that a cat hair you just took out of your mouth?
Probably. It's probably dog hair. Honestly. I'm like covered in dog hair all the time. Thanks, Harry. It's one of my dogs.
Your dog is named Harry?
Harry, short for Haribo.
H-A-R-Y?
Or Hari, sorry.
R-I.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
H-A-R.
It's
Short
like
for
Randy. Randy spells
Yeah.
his name with an I
Oh,
sometimes.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
It's
That's
kind of
very Canadian.
It's not true. It's not true.
very Canadian.
But giving dogs human names
Mm-hmm.
is a unique trait. I
love it.
never saw it much
I
before.
love it.
What's your other dog's name? Michael?
No. Bird.
Brad? Bird?
Brad's a great one. I'm going to jot that one down
Chad?
for the next one.
If you get two more dogs, you
Chad.
should name them Brad and
Brad
Chad.
and Chad. And then the other one is Marcel. He's my little French.
Oh, he's a
my little
French one.
French boy.
Nice.
We got way off topic. We'll talk about them later.
3 dogs is aggressive, too.
It is. Well, I had 2 during COVID, and then I met my boyfriend. I was going to call him a partner because I think boyfriend's kind of a weird name.
Man friend.
Man friend.
Your
my
main
roommate.
piece.
My man piece. My roommate. Sorry, Edwin. He also got an Australian Shepherd the same time I got my 2, but we didn't know each other then. And then we met about 6 months later.
Oh.
And
Tell us that story.
At Savage Craft?
No.
Let's guess. How
Okay.
you guys met.
Yes.
All right. I'm
During
thinking-
COVID.
Okay, during COVID. So online swiping,
Yep.
first connection. I'm gonna go with Hinge
I was gonna say Hinge too, or Tinder.
No.
Not neither one
Was
of
it
those.
Tinder?
Neither. None of them.
Facebook, Instagram.
Christian Mingle. Farmers.
Do y'all get that? You're not. It's organic. It was happened organically.
He slid into
During
your
COVID?
DMs on Instagram.
Email.
No.
How did
Old fashioned email. Dear sir or madam.
There is a guy that goes around asking people for their Gmail.
Oh god, that's weird.
I know it's a weird way to, but it's unique.
It's memorable.
If someone asks you for your Gmail,
Say absolutely
At the
not.
bar.
you wouldn't give it to them.
No. Say, no, you creep. Leave me alone. We met. So you said no topics off limits. I went through a really bad breakup, and I was in an abusive relationship prior to this one, and I had purchased a house with this person, and he ended up staying in the house, and I moved home with my parents for a while. I bought the house. I was on the mortgage, and then he wanted to be on the deed. Yeah, you know.
So you
gets
bought the
better.
house, put
He
the
didn't put
mortgage.
anything
He
in
didn't
his
put
name.
anything into it. Nothing. Was
We split the down payment.
but he didn't get his name on the mortgage.
It was not on the mortgage. Our names were on the deed.
Oh, but the whole mortgage was in
The
your
whole
name.
mortgage is in my name.
Oh,
Dave Ramsey.
Oh.
Ramsey
I'm in
talks
the
about
mortgage
red
business. I know
constantly.
better. I know
Red
better than
flag.
that. Yeah, red flag. I know. I've lived it and I've learned it. I've experienced it. And so I moved home with my parents. Fortunately, they are in town. And I was talking with one of the agents that I work with, and I was like, I'm so over laying on my bed with my two dogs. I'm done with this.
Right.
I'm tired of crying.
You
This
wanted
is stupid.
romance.
I was like, I didn't even want romance. I was like, it was being in,
okay.
I was like, I just need friends.
Yeah.
Being in a toxic, abusive relationship, you get
Yeah.
so isolated.
Yep.
And you forget that you can have people in your life that actually care about you.
Sure.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm done crying. I was like, let's hang out. And she said, cool, come over. I'm going to my parents' pool, my mom's pool this weekend. I'm taking a couple of friends. Just come over. I said,
Yeah.
sounds great. And then Edwin and I locked eyes, and that was it. That was history.
Pool party.
Pool party.
No way. So he was just a random at a pool party. But he knew your friend?
Yeah, he was one of her best friends. Yeah.
Wow.
So she
Nice.
kind of,
He was one of her best friends. Are
He
they
was
still
already-
good friends.
yeah.
Oh.
She's
Now,
an agent that I work with a lot, and we were on a bachelor trip 2 weekends ago.
Was he wearing board shorts and a tank top, or was he shirtless?
He was
What
shirtless. He had this long hair grown out because it was COVID.
Really?
We were not looking our finest. I don't think anyone
Shaved
was.
chest. Are shaved chest still in, or is that?
Yeah, how was his
No.
chest
bad
hair?
now?
He's got some chest hair.
Pretty neat. Like, does
Yeah.
he groom it?
No,
He just only
Just
grows
kinda
a little
lets-
bit.
just grows it.
Yeah, just
I
kinda
don't know.
patchy.
Is that a thing? Men
Well,
groom their
sometimes
chest
It's
hair?
always
Yeah,
some people
sometimes you
draw things in
do
their chest
designs.
hair.
Draw?
Yeah, they literally put initials, draw the
No.
states in it.
No.
Yeah, there's some really crafty, smart, intelligent people that do that. All right, let's
that's
just say
interesting.
it's
very interesting.
I enjoy to carve things into my chest hair for trips.
Oh,
If the trip
okay.
is like a theme, I'll put some art in my chest hair. If I'm
Some
going to be
art.
shirtless, it's a good surprise. It's a surprise.
So, I mean, I need an example.
So, well, let's
Last
see.
trip you went on.
Last trip was
that was warranted chest hair art.
Well, my wife
so
just
his wife,
turned 40.
his wife just turned 40.
Okay.
So it was a pool party. So I carved just 40 into my chest.
Yeah.
Pretty basic. You know, it's a standard one.
Kind of
And it-
giving Army Hammer.
Yes. And he's a stud.
He's also a
Is he
cannibal.
weird? see, I don't know anything about his
Cannibal.
personal
You
life.
don't know anything about his personal
I
life?
don't. Is it bad?
Yeah,
He's creepy.
he's creepy. Google that after this.
Here's
Video
here's
Ohio.
the backstory to it though.
Yeah.
One of the things that I like to do is throw people into the pool when they don't
Okay.
want to be in there.
Oh, that's fun.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always want
That's
that guy around.
Super,
Everyone
super
loves
talent,
that.
super
Everybody
talent.
loves that guy.
And if
mean,
I know they
never
can't
go to a pool
swim, then
party.
I'm right there to make sure that I pull them out.
So you're the hero.
Yeah, the villain and the hero. So anyway,
It's tracking.
So a lot of my friends, they got me, they tricked me, they got me, they threw me into the pool. So then pretty much like everybody has to get in. You don't
Yeah.
really have a choice. So they get out of the pool. They go up to Tom, who's sitting there. He's like, I'm not going in the pool. They're like, you're either getting dragged into the pool or you're going in yourself. And then
You make the decision.
That's when he made the reveal, pulled his shirt off, and he had my wife's initials carved into his chest.
So here's how it started. When I first started getting chest hair. So you're talking,
I don't know, 16.
no, I didn't. I was a late bloomer.
Yeah, I was
Probably
like
like 20, like in my early 20s. My hair was growing in like in the shape of a heart. And I thought, why not just keep like really shape it up so
Start
it's
really shaping.
I didn't know this story.
Oh yeah, so no, the heart was the original chest hair design. And then it was like, let me put something in it. And then it turned into like, I did the state of Michigan. I've done a dragonfly. I've done my best work was I was going to Oklahoma and it was tornado season.
Yeah.
I made a twister up here, and in my belly hair there was a house, like getting hit
gosh.
by a tornado. It was incredible.
Uh-huh.
So
That's one word.
So the
for
people
it.
he's art.
Art.
See, I mean, you
Art
know what? I should make a
is
collection.
Subjective.
Yeah, like I should get if I can find photos of everything, I'll make a collection. and
Please do.
sell that.
I wish I would have included that in our earlier segment. He's a 10, but he draws things in his chest.
A negative 10.
He has your initials in his chest hair when you meet him.
Not. How can I give him the least amount of points?
All right.
That's very interesting.
So we were talking about what weight. Or you got more
No,
stuff?
I don't. You go
Okay,
ahead. No,
I
that was
want to go
plenty.
back on top.
I'm so distracted
Yeah.
right now.
You're thinking about chest hair. Yeah. The less fit I get, the harder it is to, make these reveals.
you're gonna have to retire that.
I gotta get more fit. So there are things that people should do.
Yes.
I think they should get a credit card early.
Yeah.
I've even dabbled with, if you do it right, like getting your kids credit cards and you make payments for them as early as you can.
Yeah.
What other things help them get better rates or better access to money in preparation?
In preparation.
Like I know you
Truly-
should go buy a car and then get a line of credit right when you're in the mortgage process. All those good things.
Yeah,
Don't
mortgage
listen to
lenders
him.
love that when
Please
you borrow
don't
things
listen to
while
this
you're in the
guy.
process.
Please do not. So if you're talking about establishing credit, like you said, get a credit card. I always recommend secured credit cards through credit unions.
Credit unions.
What does it
What-
mean?
yeah, what is that?
Unsecured versus secured.
Secured. So secured is it's tied to collateral. Like you have to put up some money.
Like a count.
Yes. So if it's a secured credit card, that means you are forking over $500, and that's your limit. You can borrow up against that $500, and then once you've shown over the next 6 months that you've been able to borrow that money and repay,
Yeah.
then they'll unsecure it, and that's when they typically jack up the limit.
Yes.
But you also have to. There are ways you can't just use your credit card and then go pay it off the next day. Like you have to actually let that balance
marinate.
hit. You have to let it marinate. That's a great. I'm probably going to steal that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm uncomfortable with that.
You have to
Forget about it.
No, at the end of the
You
month.
set it up on automatic payments, or like you do. You pay it off at the end of the month. You have to. If you are using your card and you swipe it once and you immediately go pay it, that's never getting reported to the bureaus. So it looks like you're never utilizing that card or that debt or that ability. You're not showing your ability to repay.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing, is we want to see your ability to repay debt that you've borrowed.
You want to make them feel like you're going to miss the payment.
Yeah.
And then boom, got you.
And they're like, just kidding, paid it. Got
They
you.
love that.
Well, because there's a period where they post the amount that you owe, but then you have a certain number of days to pay it off before
Yeah.
you start paying an insane amount of
Yes.
interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what that period is? Is it like 15 days or 10 days?
So it depends on your statement date and when they report to the creditor, or when they report to the credit bureau. So you do have to kind of do your own due diligence and figure out what it is. I do think it is like a 14-day period where the statement comes out, and then you could pay it. If you do pay the actual only statement balance, and there's if your balance is $1,500 and then your card balance is $2,000, you will carry that $500 balance. If you're just paying the statement balance, you are carrying a little bit of that balance over.
So you'll pay interest on the 500.
You just really have to figure out when, and you can look on it on your statement. It shows you when your the cycle ends.
Yeah.
And then you just figure out like when they report it to the bureaus.
Yep.
There's a minimum payment which you have to do.
Which is
Yeah.
always like $1.
It's
Low.
and
To
then
pay this
and
off
then you
over the
get
next
hit with-
39 years.
If you
Yeah.
pay the statement balance, you're fine too.
Yeah.
No interest on the continuing money.
Oh,
And then but usually I always will just pay off whatever's there.
statement. Oh,
Statement
everything.
plus, like if I've
Whatever,
made a
the
couple
entire
transactions
balance.
after the cycle, then I
Yeah.
just still whack that.
yeah.
Oh,
I should be.
maybe
Should I
you
start
need
a
to teach
show?
a seminar.
Why am I
880. You need just you
I'm-
call it
we might
880.
start
Next
a
Dave
whole
Ramsey.
thing. Yeah, Dave doesn't know what he's doing.
He
It's
doesn't.
the opposite of Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
Here's how to get
Well, and I have
maximum
and
credit.
I did the opposite. I have probably 18 to 20 credit cards. I
Yeah.
have a ton of credit cards as well, just a
But
variety.
you can
pack.
use them to your advantage.
100%.
If you figure out how to manipulate the situation, you can make money off of your credit
Right.
cards. You get
For
points.
sure.
You turn those points into airline
Stuff.
tickets.
Yes.
So I mean, there's ways to use credit to your advantage, but none of it's ever taught.
Right.
They do not teach it in high school. They don't teach it in college.
Yeah.
They barely teach it. I mean, my dad, love him to death. He said, "Don't ever get a credit card." That was his.
Blanket advice. Yeah.
advice.
And that's like the safe advice.
Yeah.
But that's not
But it's
usable
not-
if you can hand there
Yeah.
are people that I agree like don't get a credit card.
Yeah.
But most people should. And like the points guy, he's the guy
Mm-hmm.
that would give like, oh, get this credit card if you travel, get this if you want cash, get this if you're looking for hotel
Mm-hmm.
perks. And some people don't like even paying like an annual fee
Yeah.
for say like a hotel one. But if you stay in hotels, that annual fee, you crush
Mm-hmm. use
that.
that.
Yes.
I mean, like
All day.
Amex has, it's an expensive
You
annual
make
fee.
money, and then
but
you make money on
You're
it.
given a $300
Credit for the yes.
entertainment credit. You can get a $200 reimbursement for your Netflix, for
Yes.
Spotify, for things like that. You get a $189 credit for the what's it called? It's when
Clear.
you clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yep.
And things like that. So I mean, if you really do the research and dig deep and like figure out all the little nuances and say, okay, I need to apply, my Netflix statement to this. I need to have it come out of my card. It'll get reimbursed and
Right.
it's getting paid for.
Yeah.
But you have to go in and activate it.
You do.
Like here's
Yeah.
the other side
Yeah,
of it.
my
There's
wife's good at that.
2 points about credit cards that I don't like. One, the business owner pays a ton on the back end. If someone would pay with a debit card or cash,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
we pay nothing on it.
Okay.
If they pay with
Yeah.
a premium Amex, we pay 3.5%. So if
Mm-hmm.
they pay $100, we only get $97.50, and every time they
Yeah.
swipe that card, we're
The
paying
business
money
owner,
to
yeah.
Amex, the business
Yeah.
owner. Yep. And then the other side, they just keep changing. If we did a full course in high school, everybody understood credit cards, points, paying it off. The credit card companies would just change all the rules
would.
immediately so that nobody understands it.
That's true.
Because I feel like they're kind of predatory about that.
God, do not get me started about predatory lending. God, we drove past a title loan company and everyone's like, "Oh, same day cash," and I was like, "That is so predatory."
Yeah.
God,
You're not into this.
Not into predatory
Would you
lending.
fight one of them? Like if we
Probably.
really? Nice.
It's just, they
make you sick.
have all these like trigger words. So they'll be like, "Oh, same day cash.
Right.
You can get your paycheck 2 weeks in advance."
Right.
Sounds great, but it's like a 300% interest
Right.
rate.
Yep.
They're giving you $500 in cash, and then you're going to pay back
Yeah.
$2,000, $1,500, $3,000. It's wild.
That is something Dave Ramsey's good at explaining.
Yeah.
Like when you buy a car, it's not the price that you're agreeing on. If you get a loan for it, it's like $5,000-$10,000 more
Yeah.
if you pay it out over the term that they lay out.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So how about this? So other things that would be negotiable, like what are some secrets that we need to know? What is the more, so credit score was one,
Yeah.
but what are the other things? Like is likability a factor that you, like if we're sitting across from you, you're like, oh, I like this
Likability?
person, I'm gonna give them some lower points. They wear glasses or not.
No, that's illegal.
None of that works. All
You
right.
can't discriminate.
What are things that you,
Well, you're not discriminating. You're just
You're
giving
saying you can't-
advantages
if
to
I
somebody
gave-
else.
No, so if I
you have your criteria, you
Yeah.
set your own.
So if I decided to give a break or a better rate to people with glasses, I have to offer that to everybody.
Really?
You cannot offer it just to one person.
So there's
or
no
one
secret
type of person.
like for your lending. Like some people can come up with their own like secret society lending, couldn't they? Where it's like, oh, this is for glasses people or people that are Aries sign.
Or fire signs.
Or if
you love a
Just
fire,
Scorpio.
if you love a fire sign.
Oh, you're a Scorpio. Yeah.
I'm a Scorpio.
So like,
Yeah. It is tough because we are so highly regulated that
you'd have to really justify what. So what? Yeah. Like, are there
So-
things though that people could negotiate and be like, all right, you're telling me it's 6.8, but I'd love to get it to 5. What do we do to get to 5?
there's ways to get it to 5.
Oh, really?
So there are a couple of different ways. You could look at, you say, what does it cost to get to the 5% rate? Now, with rates, at a higher rate market, everything is cyclical. The rates will come down. So do you want to upfront pay $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 to get that rate to 5%, and then the rates come down in 9 months? And then you just paid the investor that $7,000 and you don't get that
Gotcha.
$7,000 back?
So it's a little bit of a gamble.
It's a gamble,
Yeah.
yeah. But you're also saying, hey, I'm locking in the 5% rate for the next 30 years.
Right.
I don't ever have to refinance. You sure don't.
Right.
What if rates come down to 4? What if they come down to 4.5? I don't think that they will, but
Yeah.
you never know.
So you can just pay to decrease your interest rate.
But it is a
but
one-time
you're paying in
fee.
advance
You
you're
were-
somewhat
you
paying
were
in advance the
paying-
interest.
You're
Right.
prepaying a whole bunch of interest that goes straight to the investor. You don't
But
ever
for
see
the
that money
long
again.
haul, if you think rates are going up, you're
You're
gonna be
solid.
making,
Yeah,
you're
sure.
making money.
If rates are going to keep going up, if they're going to permanently be in the 6% environment, sure,
Yeah.
buy it down because you're like, I don't have to refinance. How we do that math is we say, what's the difference between the 6.5% principal and interest payment, and what is it at 5%? We subtract those two things and say, what does it cost to get there, and then you see where your recoupment period is. Where's your
Which might
break
be
even?
how many years
It might
would
be
the
11 years
recoupment?
from now.
Okay. So you could do the buy down, but you keep it for 30 years. For
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
19 years, you're doing great.
Yeah, for 19 years, you're doing great. You don't ever have to refinance again.
yeah.
But your break even point is 11 years. And let's say you're like, well, I know I'm going to leave. I'm going to go back to Canada in 3. You're probably going to sell the house. There's no point. Or if you're like, okay, well, let's do it for just, I want the 5.5, and maybe it's only $3,000, and that's a little bit more palatable. It's a little more stomachable, if you will. And so that's an option. If you are a buyer and your agent is able to negotiate seller concessions, you could use that money to buy that rate down permanently. You could also do a temporary rate buy down. So
What is a seller concession?
a credit. So let's say you submit your offer and you're like, I want $5,000 from the seller to go towards my closing costs, and they agree to it. The seller at the closing table is giving you $5,000 to cover your closing costs. You can use that $5,000 however you want towards either closing costs, buying the rate down, doing a 2-1 buy down, something like that.
Gotcha.
A 2-1 buy down is if the rate today is 7%, you would have a 5% rate for the first year, and then a 6% rate for the second year, and then at the beginning of the third year, it goes back up to that 7. So how that works is that $5,000 is put into a third-party bank account, and that's essentially your prepaid interest from the seller that's going to go into that bucket. Every single time you go to make your mortgage payment, you're making a portion of the payment based off of the 5% rate, and then that extra little chunk to make your fully monthly payment based off 7% gets pulled out from that account. And then so you're making a full monthly payment. The buyer's only contributing up to 5% of it, and then the other 2% is coming from the seller.
This is just a lot.
Just seems complicated.
Well, all right, this is my question then. Is there a 5th grade version of place you could learn any of this? Like, where do you go to learn?
That's why I think Instagram has become huge, and like all of these reels and all of this stuff and
That's
information.
That's my primary education.
It's, I wish that there was more, like I wish this was taught in school.
Right.
I wish this was taught in college. I've been thinking, I'm like, how can I get with the university and
create
do
a class.
Just
101, yeah.
101 with the U101 classes.
Right.
And make it a yearly, semesterly thing, and you start with the basics. You start with your credit, and then you work towards your financial stability.
Right.
You're giving them the roadmap to be financially stable for the rest of their lives, and not just how to buy a house or how to fix your credit or how to make a payment on your credit card. It's all part of the same thing.
Right.
You have to know how to do all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you drop one piece of the puzzle, I mean, you miss one monthly payment,
Right.
your score plummets.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world, but it
hurts.
You miss one monthly payment, your score will drop 100 points.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there's like a YouTube page or somebody that's simplifying, because there's so many products that are out there, things that we'll hear it on an Instagram, like quick little thing. Did you know this? Then it's like you find the terminology, then to get that into like your city and connect with the right person to understand, is this real? Yeah. Like even tax credits or any of that stuff, it's all out there, and it's like your one piece of knowledge from changing history, for that matter.
And I think that's where a lot of, because so many people will be like, I did my research, and you're like, that's great, that's fine, awesome. There is so much misinformation out there too. Right. So it's kind of you look at it and you're like, what do I believe? What's real? There's so much stuff out there. I mean, the amount of people that still think you have to put 20% down to buy a house is wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still probably 30% of the public, probably. Yeah. And that's a huge chunk of Americans that think you have to put 20% down.
Right. Well, you do in order to avoid
PMI.
Yes.
So if you don't put 20% down, you have to pay extra.
Yeah. But I mean, if you've got good credit, I've seen mortgage insurance payments as low as $20 a month.
Yeah.
And yeah, it sucks that you're making another payment to some third party that's just, that's insuring the mortgage company if you happen to default on your house. But the difference in payment between $20 a month versus an extra $40,000 is huge. That $40,000 in your pocket could go to paying other debts off, you could make a larger principal payment at some point. You could do the renovations that you wanted to your house.
You could go to Europe for a few weeks.
You could go to Europe. Yeah.
You could buy your wife a new car.
Exactly. So there are different ways to use your money. And I think that it just truly depends on the person. Some people are like, not doing MI, never going to do it ever, ever, ever. And so there's also ways you can also do single paid upfront premiums of mortgage insurance. So you could essentially put 5% down and then prepay a chunk of mortgage insurance and not have mortgage insurance on your loan.
Well, one thing that I think a lot of people don't know is if the value of your house goes way up, you can apply to get your mortgage insurance taken off.
Yes.
So you have to send them a letter. They'll never do it preemptively.
They will not say, hey, I think your value's gone up.
Yes.
You
and
have
they
to reach out
probably
to
won't
them.
answer the first time either.
No, they don't.
You have to aggressively go after them to get it taken down.
Because they don't want to have to remove that.
For sure.
And you have to reach out, and they'll say pretty much that they'll send you they'll send you a snail mail piece of mail, and then also an email that you've reached out, contacted them, that you want to get your mortgage insurance removed. And then you have to jump through a couple more hoops, and you either have to show that you have added value to your home. So if you're trying to do this within like the first 2 years of you buying a house, they're going to want to see a significant increase in the value. And then, or if you made significant improvements to the house, and they're going to want documentation of all of it. And then they're going to send someone else out, one of their appraisers, and if the value of that appraiser gives is enough to remove the mortgage insurance, they will. But they don't make it easy, because it's much easier to just keep paying the monthly mortgage insurance than it is to go through that hassle.
Yep. Yeah, they just say, I found that they just say no automatically, and then you have to fight them. Yeah. And then they say, okay, you're right.
You have to be like, no, listen, I have this house. I bought it for this. This is what the appraised value is.
Here's
this
all
is
the
what
comps.
I've done.
Yes.
Will you please send someone out?
You need a handwritten letter. You need me to fill out this form.
What do you want?
I have to do a website submission.
So there's not much else. I mean, it's pretty.
It is based on the purchase price, the loan to value ratio, how much you're putting down, your credit score, your debt to income ratio. about it.
But I feel like lenders could be a little more upfront about that.
Yeah.
Like if you want to see what a rate is
Yeah.
and you call someone, hey, what's the rate? Oh, that depends on a whole bunch of things. Well, can you just tell me, well, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get 50 documents.
Yeah.
You're going to send them all to me so that I can tell you it's the same rate as what your bank said, or
Yeah.
it's more than your bank. Like it would be
Yeah.
nice if they could just say, hey, here's the 3 things. This, and this, based on the loan to value ratio, based on your credit score.
Well, it'd be
here's
cool
what
to have
it'll
a
be.
calculator. You put in
There
like
is,
credit
yeah.
score, income, and then the
Just
value.
kicks it. I feel like lenders have that.
Do they?
though, right?
We do. It's so I think where a lot of lenders have started doing this is now because you could come to me and say, I've got an 880 and that's cute and fine and dandy. If I do
Could
your,
just be potential.
it could, yeah.
You might be lying.
Yeah.
You could be lying.
Or-
You might have a 580.
Right.
And if I tell you your rate's going to be 6.5 based off of your 880, you're putting 20% down. You've got great income, awesome, cool. And then we actually get through the application process, and I found out you lied about everything.
Right.
Everything changes.
Sure.
And now I'm the one that becomes the bad person that says, hey, by the way, I can't give you that 6.5% rate anymore because you said one thing and it turned out to be something different. And so I think that we try to do the best and say, hey, I mean, it's just like going to the doctor. It's like, I don't want to give you wrong information to where you're not going to want to talk to me anymore and then you're going to go find someone else.
Sure.
And that's what happens a lot is that if you overpromise and underdeliver, someone's going to go somewhere else.
Yep.
And so I think you have to, purely protect yourself and also the interest of your clients and say, I want to set you up for the best possible scenario, but I need all of this information. We can do pre-qualifications and those aren't really based on you turning in any documentation.
Just based on what you said.
Just based on what you said.
Which I think that would be fair if somebody lied to you.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get the rate based on the lie.
Yeah.
Hey, I make $5 million a year
not
and
how
I have an
things
899 credit score.
Ultimately, I'm the one that gets, I'm the one that messed this up. That's how it's kind of
They
perceived.
turn it around. Yep.
Is I can't tell you how many times you'll talk to someone and they're like, yes, I make this much. I'm literally dealing with this right now. Someone was like, oh, my wife is going to be salaried at this price point, at this annual salary. She is not salaried. She is working at a tip agency. And so it is all, you're like, okay, now I've got to rework the scenario.
Right.
Okay, fine. We can do it. And I don't think it's people trying to purposely do this. I think they're like, yeah, I'm W-2'd. I get paid every 2 weeks. I'm salaried.
Right.
It's like, some people don't even know how they're paid.
Yeah.
That is true. And that's fair because
Yeah.
we often have someone will say, oh, my deductible is totally met.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not met. Or they'll say, it's all covered. It's not all covered.
And then who's the one that's the bid back? You're the one
Yes,
that gets.
we tell our
Yeah.
staff, like, don't give them
Don't
anything
give them
specific until you
anything.
see their card and we see
Yeah.
it all, because I think you're right on that. People
It's
just
just-
call it and say full deductibles met,
Yeah.
everything's met, all out of pocket, not even close.
No, it's human error. I mean, you're human. You make mistakes. Like you
Yeah.
might think one thing and something different.
Yep.
But I want to make sure that if we're having that conversation, that we're both on the same page and we both have the same information. So when we go over those numbers and that rate and everything, that you're not like, oh yeah, this is cute and all, and I love it so much. And then you turn in documentation and have to come back and say, just kidding, you can't get that. Now this entire thing has changed. So yeah.
What are payoff secrets? I've heard of making 2 payments a month. So say you have a $500 a month payment, but if you split it into like $250 middle of the month, $250 at the end of the month, that speeds up the payoff. Is that true?
Sort of, kind of. Yeah, it will shave off time of your loan for sure. If you make biweekly payments, you make 13 payments a year. If you're paying every 26 weeks, every 2 weeks, 26 payments, you make one additional mortgage payment each year.
Gotcha. Yep. That makes sense.
So you can absolutely do that. It shaves probably a couple of years off. So like once you do it for a couple of years, it'll probably shave 6-7 years off,
Which is pretty massive.
which is awesome.
yeah.
Again, it goes back to most people don't stay in that house for that long.
Right.
If that is your toes up home, cool.
But
awesome.
even still, like you'd want to make payments because then if you sell it, you're just going to
get back.
Yeah, you're going to get that
you
back.
get it back. Yeah.
Right.
You can do biweekly payments. You can do one additional payment at the end of the
To
year.
principal or something.
Just to principal. You have to direct it to principal.
Yeah.
So if you're just like, nope, I'm just going to make one lump sum at the end of the year, make an extra mortgage payment. If you do not direct it to principal, they will just apply it to the whole thing.
I mean, that one the first one I said blew me away because it's like the person doesn't have to change anything except multiple payments.
Yeah.
Same amount, just different timeline.
Yeah.
And that's a game changer for these people.
Yeah. Some servicers won't allow a biweekly payment. In that case, you just set up one additional payment.
And just make it to principal only. And then I always get confused on how interest works. And I don't know how we can do the math that makes it simple, but say it's $100,000 loan and it's 10% interest. Is that done daily? Do they divide that by 365 days? And that's the daily interest on the amount that's due, that's there. Okay.
Interest accrues daily.
All right, then that does make sense.
And your payoff schedule is based on you paying your mortgage payment on the 1st every single month.
Yep.
If you wait to the 15th, you're only paying what's due on the 1st, and you've had 14 days of interest accruing. So it will make your payoff a little bit longer. So yeah, if you can pay on first.
Paying it a few days early would make, even that little thing would change it over the course of the long run.
Absolutely.
Okay, nice. Payment secrets.
Sorry. That was
Now, when did you know you were going to become a suit coat girl?
a suit coat.
Yeah. Did you?
This is my
when was your
professional look.
Yeah.
This is how I look professional.
Did you, when you bought your first suit coat, where you're like, this is
It
what
was like
mortgage?
the game changed.
Yeah. Is it? And this is what you would wear to work, right? Like to meet with somebody.
This is I'm trying to pretend like I look professional.
Yeah.
I was going to come in athleisure, but I was like, I'm going to put it on a
gonna go
blazer
suit
today. I'm going to go in a suit coat.
Yeah.
It's
Do you remember
super
buying
easy.
your first one?
No, but I do have a hot pink one. Oh,
There it is.
Yeah, we got a photo.
that's right there. Oh, that's why I used the suit
That's
coat
right,
girl.
yeah.
I was like, I'm just wearing one blazer. Jeez. All right, cactus boy.
When did I know I like pink cactus?
Yeah. Probably a couple of years ago. It is just a super easy way to pretend like I look professional.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally jeans and a tank top underneath
Great.
it.
Now, say you're going out in the town.
Yeah.
What kind of look are you going for?
Jeans and a shirt,
Really?
t-shirt.
Do you
Super
go,
cash.
Do you go baggy? Do you go?
I like a baggy. I like a baggy jean.
Really? Mm-hmm. You a dress person? Like you ever go to work dresses?
Yeah. Kinda.
Yeah.
Not really. I'm more of a jean person. Jean and a t-shirt. It's just easy.
It's changed. The professional landscape's changing a little bit, but you kind of have to tailor it now based on who you're seeing,
Absolutely.
what you wear.
If I am doing, like if I'm going to do a seminar or something, I'm going to wear a jacket. I'll probably wear a pantsuit.
Full suit.
A trouser at least, or like a button up.
Yeah.
Not like overly stuffy, but definitely, people would think she wears that every
Stuffy.
day.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
You want to be a little bit stuffy.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, look, I'm professional. I work from home, so it's typically pajamas.
Oh, really? So what? Yeah, I guess I was wondering that. Do you see yourself long term in the mortgage world?
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually talking to a friend yesterday, and part of me wants to go back to school. So,
What would you learn though? What would you go back to learn? That's what I always think about.
business something?
Do they know any? Like school doesn't know shit about it.
No, but so
Don't go to university, is what we're saying.
I
Go
Do
to
it online or do a
Yes.
mentorship.
yeah.
or with Randy Kloss and Tom Stetson.
Oh, you want us to show you a couple things? How to get 880?
We got a 101 course.
Yes.
We got an 880 class coming out.
Love it. Can't wait to
out
sign
soon.
up. No, I think if I ever wanted to move into any kind of, not even a managerial role, but like a higher up, like at a company,
Sure.
C-suite type thing, VP of something.
Yeah.
I fake graduated college, so
Faked it. Like just printed out a degree.
I didn't go that far.
You just said that you did.
I didn't print it out. I didn't print out.
Right, you didn't print it. You
I
just
just-
told people that you graduated college.
Yeah.
I walked and everything.
Oh, you
You
did?
did? Do your parents
So
know?
sorry, Mom. Yeah.
Or wait, is the world
They don't
finding
know.
this
I don't
out right now? Are you
understand,
sure
yeah.
that?
No.
Do you
They
want the
know.
world to know this? Because we don't edit anything.
I mean, it is what it is.
I love that.
People really
love
find
honesty.
it endearing.
That's great.
Not my proudest
I
moment.
could care less about
Not
it.
my proudest
Right.
moment.
I don't think a degree means
I don't
anything.
need
Unless they're
a
like a
degree to
surgeon.
do what I do. Yeah.
I mean,
then I
like,
might want to see.
that's important.
I'd like to
I might
know
wanna see
that.
that.
An engineer, I like them having degrees.
Yes, please have those. I went to school for history. Did basic enough to
Right.
get by, and then half of your grades come in after graduation ceremonies.
Right. So you figured you're not going. You're like, I kind of did everything. That there's no reason to go back and actually. Was it a couple classes?
Probably.
That's amazing. You're just a few credits short, but you walked.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
So, I was talking to Edwin, my boyfriend, about it, and he's going back, for IT and stuff. I don't know what he does. Same thing, IT stuff.
Just a big computer guy.
He's
yeah.
a smart dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, that'd be kind of cool to go back but then change it to get some kind of business admin, finance, whatever it is, purely for it to go on your resume.
Sure.
If I ever want to get out of this sales role, because I'm in a sales role,
Yeah.
and move up the ladder, if you will, a degree is
They want
pretty
that.
much required.
You know what else they're looking for is good golf scores. Mm-hmm. Do you golf at all?
I did take 4 lessons this summer.
Nice.
Yes.
How'd it go?
It went so good.
It's a rough sport when you first get in there.
I do have my own set of clubs.
Nice.
That's
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think soft skills are becoming
Yeah.
more and more important.
Absolutely.
You can have someone get a degree that's so strange.
Yeah.
They can't do anything that you really need socially.
Absolutely. You have to. I mean, I developed these people skills from this job, from bartending.
Bartending for sure.
You can't teach that in school. You can't teach, obviously, how to get a mortgage. You can't teach how to be nice to people, how to be kind to people, how to treat people with respect. Like you can't.
How to
Right.
show up on
How
time.
to show up on time.
How to tip bartenders.
Exactly.
How to
Like, these are life
respond to an
lessons.
email.
Yeah.
Without
Not reply
using-
all.
Right.
Please don't reply all.
And not using all little adjectives and things that nobody
Seriously.
understands.
Got to capitalize the right stuff.
Absolutely.
Can't
Use
say sup,
punctuation.
bro.
Sup?
It's your boss.
Sup, dude? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And where'd you bartend? Was it around here?
Taza Kitchen.
Taza, sweet.
Oh,
How long
Tom
were you
had
there?
a big first date at
Oh, yeah.
Taza.
Oh,
Well, not first, or
Not
second,
first.
no. Third date?
Y'all's first date together with each other?
Where'd you take me the
No,
first
where did
time
we
you
go
asked
the
me out?
first? We went to that little Peep breakfast place, I think, in
Oh,
Sand
really?
Hills
Like a nice
for
little-
breakfast.
Classy.
He must have slept over. We had a good night.
That sounds right.
That's so sweet.
How long were you at Taza? Is it
Gosh.
Taza or Taza?
Taza.
It's got to be Taza.
Yeah, he
Why?
I
That's
do
a
say
Canadian
Taza.
thing.
Oh, that's the Canadian in you.
Tazza.
Oh,
Z
Zed
means Z,
is
yeah.
Z. We say Z here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm figuring that
Yeah,
out.
on
Yeah.
planet Earth, we say Z.
We say Z in America.
And I love, and the best part is we homeschool our kids, so I'm
Yeah.
purposely teaching them Zed.
They're gonna be like, "Who are these smart
Everyone's
people?"
looking at them like, "What is wrong with you?"
Like, I
were,
don't know.
were you there circa 2000
16,
To-
15, 14, 2014.
for a year or two? Mm-hmm. It's a great establishment. I mean,
It
the fact that
is.
it's made, that complex goes through a lot of restaurants. That's just, you think about that one all the time.
Yeah.
Randy was basically at my first date.
I love that.
I just would shoot video. I'd go to the bathroom, shoot a couple videos, send it to him, go back to the date.
Yep.
It was weird. I
I
was
mean,
learning.
he was, but all his videos were
What a
like,
learner.
"Oh, I'm just
Yeah.
crushing it."
I didn't
oh,
need
she's
help.
obs-
So cool.
She's obsessed with
I
me
didn't need
already,
any
and
help.
I
Is this
barely
not the
said
person you were
anything.
married
yeah.
to?
Yeah. So I was right.
You did something right, I guess. They were super cool.
I mean, so much thought into like, do I hug her? What do I do?
Yeah.
Do I show up early? Do I order something?
Yes,
the
the
stuff that he
pre
was
was
going to
so-
order her, it was his first.
Where did y'all go?
I had no Koa. That was the first date.
Ooh.
He's like, what should I
Good
get? Should I just preemptively get like 3 different drinks and be like, here, get the one that
Didn't
you
know
want?
what you wanted.
Yeah, it's like he didn't
Yeah.
roofie these at all.
Good point. See,
God, don't.
This is the
ever
coaching I
do
was
that.
needing. And then I ended up showing up late, and then she was already there, sitting down. I was like, oh my god, because I was like, do you
Late?
hug? Do you stand up? Yeah.
Wow.
So
Bad
I got to
discretion.
do the walk, kind of strut.
Yeah.
and the music started playing, I had them
She
slow
married
everything
you.
down.
Right. I think it's kind of
had
nice to set the precedent
Yeah.
early. Like I just kind of show up late and do whatever
This
I
is
want.
who I am.
And I go to the bathroom a lot and, and
I
be
brought-
with my friends.
It's just like, what?
I brought a boom
Bowel
box that
movements
just
this
played
guy have.
music as I walked in.
You're like, what's up?
Yep. All right. What kind of calculators do you use? Are you a TI-89 or is it all computer based?
It's all computer based.
Really?
I used to have a TI-89 that had games on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Yes.
it.
I don't think I had an 89. I thought it was an 83. Is 89
There's 89
newer?
and 83.
89 was nice.
I only had
89
83,
was
so
legit.
I never had an 89.
You could get little games put on it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have spent the extra for
Yeah,
that.
probably couldn't afford it.
No, so everything that we do, we can do manual calculations and give, basic information for information purposes, but we do have a full-on loan operating system that everything gets plugged into.
Are there any formulas that the average Joe should know about?
Sure. So yes, you've got to figure out how you're paid, to begin with. Let's take it just as a salaried person. Someone's
Yep.
making an annual salary, you divide that by 12. We use your gross monthly income. So before taxes, before anything gets taken out, is your gross.
Yep.
And then different loan products can go to different loan to debt to income ratios. But if you want to be, I guess kind of the run of the mill is we can go up to 45, 50%. But if you're trying to, be comfortable, really kind of like 36%.
Percent.
So
And does that include car payment and everything?
That's
So your
everything.
total
your
monthly
total
payment,
your future
debt.
payment, your future mortgage payment, all of your monthly payments that you're making on debts that you owe should not exceed more than 36% of your gross monthly income.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
we can push that up to 45, 50, in some cases 55, 56%
So
with
let's
an FHA loan. But
So just math wise,
that
so
is
let's say
maxed
they,
out.
they make $10,000 a month, you could go up to $5,500 is where the mortgage could fit into that. So if they're
if you're in
should
an
be
FHA loan,
3,600.
if you're in an FHA
3,600,
loan, you could, and you had no other debt,
Yep.
it would be probably really hard to still get that to go through because we look at your front end ratio, which is just your housing expense, and then your back end ratio is that all monthly, all the expenses. So that front end would probably need to be probably closer to 36% or something like that. If you're in an FHA loan, if you want to try to like max, if you're maxing yourself out on $100,000 or $10,000 a month. But yes,
And that's the loan amount. You guys would allow us to make a payment of $3,600? Okay.
and then
But if they had a boat payment, a car payment, an RV payment,
that
all
goes into it.
Oh, that goes
That
into
starts going into it. So like if you are like, I want a $3,600 mortgage payment, and then you've got a $1,000 boat payment, and then you've got a $1,000 car payment, and then you've got $500 in student loan payments, and then you've got another $1,000 in credit card debt. All of that gets added up together.
wow.
So your back end ratio, that is your total everything, that can't exceed on an FHA loan really up to like 56%.
Wow. Okay.
That is maxing.
That's a lot, and that's a
That
lot.
is strapping you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to be barely being able to make your monthly payment.
Right.
It's almost impossible. If you're paying 56% on your mortgage, and something broke, you wouldn't be able to
You wouldn't be able
do
to fix it.
anything.
I mean, we're using your gross monthly income. Like,
Wait, I'm still
Right.
lost.
You're paying tax on it. So you make 10 grand. You're going to
That's
pay
gross.
Tax.
You're going to pay $2,500 tax.
Yep.
So you have 7,500. Now you have a home loan of 5,600.
That's just the home loan? No, I thought that like the 5,600 was
Well,
what
that's
I
your
could-
total debt.
that's your total debt is 5,600.
So you're
my
paying
let's say
boat loan and my
5,600 every
RV.
month.
now
and
you're
all
left
that.
with $1,900
Right.
for the entire month.
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
entire month.
No,
That is everything else. Life.
so you would
anything.
only, but I just saw, I guess my brain's not making sense of
I need
this.
like a whiteboard.
I love a whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
So if like say it's 5,500 is what I can have in debt. So you said I have a $1,000 car payment.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden I'm down to 4,500.
Your monthly
yes.
mortgage payment can't be over 4,500.
Gotcha. And then car and it keeps
And then
going.
it keeps
So then
cutting
you
into
might be
your
like-
ability.
You might be like, we can approve you for $400 a
And
month
that's
if that's the case.
sometimes the case.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some people that are they have so much money out
Right.
and their so much debt that they might make $100,000 a year.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, they can afford a $1,500 mortgage payment.
What's not included in that? Say they have business stuff and they have land and
If it is on your personal report, if you own land and it is in your personal name, that goes into everything. So if
Gotcha.
you just own a lot, you're like, we're going to build on one day, and that is you've owned it free and clear, we're still hitting you for the taxes and you don't have
You put
insurance
that
on
in
it.
there.
Yeah, and we put that in there.
gotcha.
If you own a rental property that is, accruing rental income, we can use that rent payment to offset your mortgage payment. We can't necessarily give you credit for the additional income. But then once you've had that house for at least one filed year's worth, we have to get that Schedule E. And then so once you have a rental income, you have to file Schedule E income. And that's what we have to use that calculation that you put on there. And that's how we offset the mortgage payment and the rental income.
Yeah.
We don't do any kind of, car insurance, like any other miscellaneous things that you have going out each month if they're not on, if you do not have to turn in your social security number in exchange for debt, we don't take that into account.
Gotcha.
So if you're, $7,500 is your take home pay, $5,500 of that is going out in debt, and then
You're
gas.
It's good for
by.
people.
Gas,
That's a good,
groceries.
it's a good formula for people to know.
I mean, to be more conservative, I would absolutely lean on the 36%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So tell everybody, we didn't really get into this. How do they find you? What does it look like to work with you?
Okay.
Who's your ideal client if you want that?
Anyone who wants to buy a house is my ideal client.
Not an RV, not a boat, just a house.
Just house.
Yep.
We can do renovation, just houses, condos, apartments,
Rentals, if it's a rental
Rentals,
properties.
mobile homes.
Really? What about land for mobile homes?
Land, if you are not, land is going to be more of an agricultural thing. You can go to Ag South for that. Some banks will do land loans. Lenders, most likely retail banks, that we are retail lenders, are not going to do land loans. And if you are trying to buy a mobile home, off of the lot, that is, you pretty much have to go through that in-house person.
Gotcha.
They can find me on Instagram.
Slide into your DMs.
Sure. Slide into the DMs.
Sweet.
Yeah. Handle is mortgages by MG.
What's BY?
X.
That means you
By
gotta say
times.
X. No, you gotta
X.
say X. You
Mortgages
kidding me?
XMG.
I would have typed in BY.
Oh, okay. Mortgages X MG.
Yeah. We'll have the links anyway for you to look at.
Yeah. I am on Facebook. I just have a business profile on there. Cell phone.
You want them to show up at your house at all?
Nope.
In-person
Please
meetings?
Please
You want to
don't.
give your Gmail
No.
to anybody?
No.
And then how?
My cell is call, text. Yeah. 803-862-7220.
Wow, people are going to be sending texts like crazy.
Do it. Buy.
Might
You want a
be-
house? Come on.
Randy and I like to send a couple random texts to people that give them out on the show.
Great.
Yep. Pics, different things, chest hair photos,
Great.
just potential things.
I will send some gifts.
Great. And
Really
then,
obnoxious gifts.
and then my last thing was just how does one market themselves in the mortgage space? What's a marketing?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's definitely something that I'm trying to figure out is that social media presence. There is such a fine line between being cheesy and just obnoxious, and then actually also providing people with information.
Yeah, we skirt that line a lot.
Yeah. That works for people. I'm not going to do one of those TikTok dances. I'm just
Right.
not.
Right.
No one wants to see that.
Oh, Tom did one time.
Oh God, it was so bad.
So bad.
I was like, this isn't good.
We got to find that in the
Did you go
archives
viral?
somewhere.
No, it was
Oh.
so bad. It was
If
cringy.
you go viral, yeah, sure.
Yeah, if it went
No.
viral.
It went viral.
It was more like our friends texting us, like, "Hey, tell them to take that down."
It's so cringe. It was cringy.
bad.
It was
That's bad.
I think it's still up.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's you pretty much just kind of make sure that you are the best person that I could be for people. Word of mouth is huge. My referral partners, the people that I work with, the clients that I work with, I mean, they're instrumental in growing my business too. You know, I mean, it's just like y'all. I mean, if you do a good job, if you take care of those people, they will send people your way. And that's what I try to make sure that I do to every single person who I get in touch with, no matter if they buy a house or not.
Somebody recommended you for Columbia's hottest podcast, so massive.
Thanks, guys. Let me know who you are,
great.
and I'll send you a thumbs up.
That's great. Well, thank you.
Awesome.
This has
Thank
been
you
great.
so much. Cool.
All right.
Awesome.
Appreciate it. We're here for the health of it.
For the health of it.